Hey guys, OraMagi here. If you haven't seen the first part of this video, I recommend you do so. The link is in the description below, or you can click here to be taken to it. So another show I'm watching this season is New Game. I picked it up because I thought it was going to be a show about game development. Note that I haven't seen shows like Working or Shirobako, which I think quite a few people do like because they're somewhat realistic. But New Game is kind of like Andrea, which is cute girls doing cute things. Now, if you go onto my anime list and you scroll down, you see that I don't actually watch that many shows that fall under that umbrella. New Game is probably the one show that really does fall under that grouping, and I can wholeheartedly say I am enjoying it. If I was asked to describe New Game in 3 words, I'd say it's fun, cute, and fluffy. It's not a realistic depiction of the video game industry. I mean, for a starter, I think every employee in Equal Jump is a woman, but it's super fun. It shows them having fun in a work environment, and this is the first time I'm watching an anime like that. When you're watching this show, I find it hard to believe that anyone could watch an episode and not go from "aww" to "wait, food." During the course of an episode, because some of the reactions are so varied, some of the situations they get into are so fun, their faces are so goddamn fluffy, I wish I could reach into my computer screen and pinch them. I have never found myself describing an anime as fluffy. If you watch it and you see the images, I feel like you'll agree with me if you've seen the show that that's an actual fair description. That it's fluffy. Like, I gotta put the quotation marks because, you know, it's not like you can feel it, but fluffy just seems like the right word to describe the show, and it's great. As for do I like it, I do like the show. I like it a lot. Every character has got decent individual development, from Hifumi's really quiet nature, who I think loads of people adore, to Yagami's like messiness, to Alba's just goddamn cuteness, to Hajime's just Genki energy. As for will I continue it, I will definitely continue the show. There's no reason for me to drop it. Like, I'm in love and enthralled by the cute fluffiness of the show. The storyline progression seems okay. You get a decent hint of the game development going on, but it's more about, hey, here's some cute girls in a game development environment. Just have fun with the show. As for a preliminary score, I'm thinking somewhere within the 7 to 9 bracket. It's not something amazing and mind-blowing, but at the same time, it's a show I'm having a lot of fun with, and it's something I look forward to every week. Also, here for me, best girl. Next! The next show that I'm watching this season is Quality Code, animated by A1 Pictures, who are responsible for shows such as Sword Art Online, Erased, Gate, and the Asterisk War. I think some people would have avoided the show to begin with because of A1 Pictures' name and how they're associated with shows like that. Personally, I decided to give it a go, and I'm glad I did. I think that Quality Code is one of the hidden gems this season because it's got some really shining factors to it that separate it from maybe, you know, the standard A1 Pictures show. So I decided to pick up Quality Code not only because of the interesting name, but because, like Old Woman on the Sky, the opening theme was performed by a well-known artist whose songs I enjoy. The opening theme is Brave Freak Out by Lisa. Give that a listen if you haven't. I'll put a link in the description below. It is on point as I think one of my favorite OPs this season. I also decided to pick up Quality Code because of the superpower premise it's got going on. These kids who went into deep sleep after an attack happened over the world. They woke up from this deep sleep with these powers known as world manifested within them. They explain later on in the show that their world is based on the world that they saw whilst they were in deep sleep. For example, one of the main characters, Suzuyu Ichiya, has the ability to manipulate gravity, and he can use that to fly freely as well as to manipulate these orbs around him, which he can use to destroy his targets. And it's the same thing for the majority of characters that you'll see in the show. Most of the characters who have names, they'll have these abilities that probably adhere to something about their personality. As for what I think so far, I really like it. I think that people who maybe gave the show a miss because of the A1 Pictures name or because they weren't a fan of the concept, I think that they're missing out on a really interesting storytelling way. There are actually 6 main characters in the show: Kanaria, Suzuya, Hotaru, Tenkawa, Asuha, and Kasumi. The way the story is conducted and the way that I like is that each of these characters' pairs are given their own story. It all feeds really well into this storyline of defeating the unknown, these characters who are laying siege to their world, and which is the reason why these kids have been given the power of. The 3 character pairings are all representatives of the 3 defense cities that have been left after this attack by the unknown: Tokyo, Kanagawa, and Chiba. We finished with the Tokyo story, the story of Kanaria and Suzuya. and now we're in the middle of the Kanagawa story, I believe, the story between Maihime and Hotaru. It's doing a really good job of making you feel for the dynamic between these two characters. This is something this show really does well. The character dynamic and the relationship dynamic between not only the pairings of the characters, but the characters and the world around them. I personally think that it's a really interesting way of conducting a story, and so far for me, it's working really well. So I do like the show a lot, and I'm definitely going to continue with it. I believe it is one of those shows where it is pretty much a light novel advert, a long light novel advert, but I will continue it if it becomes officially translated. As for a preliminary score, I think this is within the 7 to 9 range. I don't think it has got what is necessary to jump to a 10 unless something in the remaining storyline is gonna make me go, oh my god. But if that doesn't happen, 7 to 9. The next show that I've picked up this season is Re:Zero. Now, this show is a massive talking point because I think you either love it because it has got great art, a great storyline, great characters, great music, or you are in the other camp of people who don't like it because everyone else is talking about it. Every single discussion thread I've been on, you have people complaining like, oh, there's too much discussion about this show or too much fan art, or you've got people like me who are like, Re:Zero. I picked it up because it is one of those trapped in another world stories. Not only is it much more well developed, but god damn, there are feels. There are feels for the main character. There are feels for the side character. There are feels for the goddamn animals in this show. And if any show that's not Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood can make me feel for animals, then it's doing something right. As for what I think so far, I am holding this show in the highest regard. This is the first White Fox show I believe I've seen, and they are doing so much right. I don't think there has been a single episode I dislike based on animation or production quality. Obviously there's been episodes I don't like. Goddamn episode 18! But based on pure like production quality, it is absolutely wonderful. It is such a pleasure to look at. From a pure production value, the facial animations are on point, the battle scenes are on point, everything is on point. As for do I like it? Hold on, I think I had something here. Give me a minute. You're goddamn right, I like this show. I love so much about the show how it's making me feel different things, like loving Subaru from 1 minute, to absolutely despising him, to making me feel for him, to making me feel for some of the side characters. There is no way I'm dropping this show, that is for certain. As for a preliminary score, this is going to be 9 to 10, not even 8 to 10. I don't think White Fox and this show can do any wrong. It is very likely this show is going to get a 10. I mean, what else am I going to give a show that makes me change my wife? Next! The last show I'm watching this season is Taboo Tattoo by JC Staff, who are responsible for shows such as Shokugeki no Soma, Danmachi, and Prison School. This is a show I came in expecting a decent amount just because of the studio. As for why I picked up Taboo Tattoo, as you probably know by now, I'm a huge fan of any kind of show that's got special abilities or superpowers involved in them. So when I looked up the description for Taboo Tattoo and I saw the description of the seal and the tattoos, I was, automatically interested in it. But what made it better for me is the whole, like, how the tattoos have almost their own personality. One thing I really like when it comes to shows like this is when the abilities themselves a given character. Probably the best and most well-known example of this is Shaman King, where the spirits have their own characters. Midamaru and Yo have such a great dynamic going on that can go from great comedy to wonderful action. So I wasn't expecting anything along that standard, but that's just one thing personally that I really like about those kind of shows. As for what I think so far, I think Taboo Tattoo is suffering from some major pacing issues. I was watching the latest episode, and not that I had a hard time following what was going on, but it felt really jumpy. Go from one backstory back to a battle, and I mean, personally for me, I don't have a hard time following this kind of stuff, but for Taboo Tattoo, I have a hard time trying to connect the dots really. It feels really rushed in some cases, which is really sad because, as I've said before, this show can be eye candy to look at. There is plenty of fan service, plenty of comedic moments, plenty of awesome fight scenes, and I feel like it is really undermined by its pacing issues. I think it's a shame. The pacing is the main issue for the show. I am very unsure. I'm not going to say whether I like it or I dislike it, but I'm very unsure of my opinion on the show, and I won't be able to form a proper one until it finishes airing. As for will I continue it, like I've said, it's eye candy. JC staff are doing a really good job with the animation. There's plenty to look at. The fight scenes are really good. The abilities are really nice. The story is a bit shaky and the pacing is awful, but I will continue it and see where it goes. And as for the preliminary score, I wish I could. Unless somehow the pacing gets fixed in the remaining episodes, this is 6 to 7, probably on the lower end 6, because I want to follow the story. I want to appreciate the main villain's motives. I want to appreciate the main character Seigi's drive to become the strongest. But the pacing issues and how it tries to mix in loads of comedy with some serious action, sometimes it works really well, but other times it doesn't. And then there's backstories, and then there's multiple battles going on, and it's really unfortunate that it has to suffer from such issues. And that is it. There are a couple of shows I decided to omit from the main video because of some certain circumstances. An example of one of those shows is Real Life, because all the episodes dropped at once, so technically it's not airing. I have finished it, I did enjoy it, and I will be probably compiling my thoughts into a final review video, which will be coming out later. And the other show that was omitted from this list is Shokugeki no Soma Nino Sara. And this is because I own 11 copies of the manga, and I'm on volume 9, so I decided that I wanted to catch up with the volumes of the manga that I own before watching shows like that. Another show that falls in that banner is Orange. Is a show I want to watch, but I've decided not to because I'd have the first volume of the manga. It's the first complete volume, the big, compilation of stories that I want to read before I decide to watch the anime. That is it from me. If you enjoyed this video, like if you did. If you didn't, dislike, but please leave some feedback so I can improve. If you want to follow me on Twitter where we can discuss more anime stuff, please do so at OraMagi. There'll be a link here and a link in the description below. My anime list profile is also in the description below if you want to have a look at that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.